You would expect summer break to be filled with lots of fun, swimming, and hanging out with friends. Well, my summer contained a lot of that up until April 29th, 2020, and something very unexpected happened. I don't want to say it was life-changing, but it was very, very shocking. You ever got this gut feeling that something's just off? Well, I had that feeling as soon as it happened. I had a feeling I was seriously injured, and that even though I was hoping that I wasn't. I got a grade 2 sprain in my right ankle, partially tearing 3 ligaments in my ankle. By the end of my speech, the audience will understand the process of what it was like to get and recover from a sprained ankle. That morning I woke up and I was ready to have fun and hang out with my friends like I have been all summer. But little did I know that one innocent looking trampoline would ruin the rest of my summer and some of my football season. I went over to my friend's house earlier that day to work on a tractor with him. A couple of hours later, another one of our friends showed up. My two friends and I were all on the trampoline together and we were just chilling on our phones bouncing a little. Out of nowhere, I landed weird on my ankle and sprained it. The first 5 minutes after it happened, I was just rolling on the trampoline in pain while my friends laughed at me. My ankle swelled up right away. My friends felt bad even though they were laughing, so one of my friends went inside and grabbed me an ice pack so I could ice my ankle. A little bit after, one of my friends left, so me and my other friend just went driving around for a little bit. Even though I couldn't walk after, I didn't tell my parents for a couple of hours because I was hoping that it would just go away. It was about 2 hours later, and I finally called my mom telling her that we should probably go to the emergency room to look at my ankle. After that, my dad called me a little later telling me to come home so he could bring me to the hospital. When I got home, my parents asked how it happened, and I told them, so they took some pictures and sent it to one of my dad's doctor friends. I used the crutches my dad used when he had gout in his foot to hobble my way to the car. We eventually got in the car and made our way to the hospital. When we got to the hospital, I crushed my way into the emergency room and went through all the COVID procedures, finally got called into a room by a nurse. The doctors took a look at my foot and took some x-rays to see if my foot was broken or not. They told me that it wasn't broken, but they will need to send the pictures to one of my doctors to see how my ligaments and tendons are. The doctor came back in with a boot and helped me put it on and told me what to do and when I could take it off. I had to keep the boot on at all times unless I'm icing my ankle or I had to take a shower. I don't think I left the house for about the first 2 weeks of being injured, and I was on crutches for about a month. About 2 weeks after, I had a meeting with my doctor. She told me that I have a grade 2 sprain in my ankle, which meant I partially tore 3 ligaments in my ankle, and that I could start physical therapy in a couple of weeks once I'm off the crutches. Finally, about a month after I sprained my ankle, I didn't need my crutches anymore, and I was finally just in a boot, so I could start physical therapy and try and get ready for football season. At the start of my physical therapy, when I was still in my boot, I used this water treadmill and an air treadmill to take the weight off my ankle so I could walk and run. When I first started, I was doing mostly stuff to get the motion back into my ankle and get used to using my ankle again. I finally started to hang out with my friends again after I could walk. Towards the end of the summer, I was out of my boot and walking and somewhat running without much pain. I started lifting weights again with my football team and was mostly done with physical therapy. Once I started running again and was mostly back to normal, I started playing football with an ankle brace. Although it was a long, exhausting, and annoying journey, I eventually fully recovered and continued to play football. I hated going to physical therapy, but I knew that I needed to so that I could have a football season. As you can tell, my summer took a very unexpected turn when I sprained my ankle, went to the hospital, and took a long journey through physical therapy. Although it was not the summer I expected, I learned that you should always be careful no matter what you were doing. It may have been a very painful experience, and I wish it never happened. And I don't want to say I was glad that it happened, but it was very eye-opening. I've always loved summer break and always will, even though my summer of 2020 took a weird turn and wasn't ideal. It was overall a good fun summer. One thing I will always remember is to stay away from trampolines.